Hey everyone, on today's episode of Music Biz, we're going to discuss the career advice that far too many people in music seem to ignore. We live in the motivational age. Whether you're on social media, looking at news articles, or reading books, there is a huge audience for people that want to be motivated. You'll see things like work harder, hustle harder, keep it going, chase your dreams, follow your dreams, so on and so forth. If you want to get ahead in life, you need to hustle. If you want to have a family, you need to hustle. If you want to do anything more than what you're doing right this second, you guessed it, you need to hustle, or at least that's what the books tell you. But there's one thing that all these articles and all these social media posts and TED Talks and everything else seem to avoid, and that is the fact that you can easily hit a wall with your creative output. If you just keep pushing yourself 24/7, go, 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 always on the road, always on the studio, always trying to get your artist's attention, you're never going to get as far as you could go if you just learn to relax. If you learn to take a deep breath, step back, and disengage from the industry. And I know that that seems counterintuitive. After all, we live in this crazy age where people are connected all the time and they're always looking for new content, and it's consume, consume, consume. But if you try to meet those demands yourself as a one-person army, you're going to hit a wall, and it's going to completely destroy your love for this industry. In the decade I've been in this industry, I have lost count of how many friends and fellow professionals I have seen leave the industry altogether because they hit a wall that they simply couldn't overcome. People who were the best press release writers in the world or great songwriters suddenly couldn't string together a series of words that they actually liked. The simplest tasks became mountains to them, and ideas like networking and all the other basics of the industry just felt increasingly impossible. Beyond that, their personal lives started to suffer. They would lose relationships, or they couldn't hold a relationship. If they were married, they had all this strain and stress put on their relationships. If they had children, they didn't see them as much as they wanted to, as much as they knew they should, all because they were trying to please this faceless entity known as the music business. And you may have heard this said, but it bears repeating. The industry is a machine. At the best, we are all just cogs in that machine, and while it is possible for a lot of us to be replaced if we don't do our jobs well, if you are a true professional, somebody who has given the time and effort required to become proficient at the thing that you do, then you have earned the right to take time off. You've earned the right to step away. And if you feel like you can't do that for some reason, if you feel like the industry is going to pass you by, if your employer is not going to give you that right, then you really need to reevaluate what you're doing and whether or not it could be done better or it should be done somewhere else. I know that that's a hard truth to face because we are taught the industry is so cutthroat that we have to accept whatever people throw our way. But that's not true. If you're a true professional, if you're somebody who is talented and you have things to offer the world that people want, there's always going to be a place for you in this business. But if you don't take care of yourself, that's not going to matter. Because if you can't get up every day as excited about music as you were when you were 16 or 17 years old and just starting off in this industry, then it's never going to be what you wanted it to be. You're never going to be able to live the dream that you've always wanted. Maybe you can't take time off. Obviously, that is the ideal way to step back and relax. But there are other things you can do as well. For starters, you could just take a nap on an off day, Saturday and Sunday, or if you happen to have a weird schedule throughout the week, take a short nap. Allow yourself the allowance to just get a few extra hours of rest in. Another thing you can do is pick one day or even just a few hours out of the week that are completely off limits for work. Put up an away message if you have to, but say, this time is my time, and I'm not going to answer emails, I'm not going to answer texts, I'm not going to be on social media. I'm going to spend this time with myself or with my family, with my friends. I'm going to do something for me. Third, you can always try to find a hobby that exists outside of music. Now, obviously, depending on how much time you have, it's going to vary what you can do, but I found things like painting, reading, or just listening to podcasts can be a really great way to let your mind distress. At the end of the day, the goal is to relax your brain. If you just keep pushing it, things are going to be harder than they need to be, and then the big things that you really want to work towards are going to feel absolutely impossible to reach. But if you just let your brain rest, if you just take a few minutes to recover, think of it like going to the gym. You can't just run 5 miles every single day. You can't run 5 miles from the start. You have to build up to that, and even when you get there, you have to rest and recover in between each time that you run. Same thing with work. Allow yourself time to recover so that you can get back at it and you can push yourself to go a little bit further. But first and foremost, rest. Now, I'm sure that there are going to be people out there who say, I would love to do that, or I think that that's a great idea, but how can I do that in my career? How can I possibly take time off from the road, or take time off from being a publicist, or whatever it is that you want to do in this industry? And if that's the case, please leave a comment below because we read them all and we will help you. There are plenty of resources out there. We'd love to point you to them, or we will just have a conversation with you. You are not alone in this industry, even though you can often feel like that is the case. So please reach out to us below, hit us up on Twitter, go to the blog and check us out. There are plenty of ways to get in contact with us, but please do not continue to suffer. Do not continue to push yourself to the breaking point every single day, because this industry needs passionate, dedicated people like yourself, and we don't want to lose you. And if I could take just a few more moments of your time, I would ask that you please click the subscribe button down below. We create a ton of content here at Music Biz, and we want you to be a part of it. So please take a few moments and click that button. I also want to ask that you check out our sponsor. Holics.com is the industry standard for music promotion, in part because Holics makes it easy to promote your music online. It cuts down the amount of time it takes to get a good-looking press release and promo for your record out to tastemakers around the world. So head over to Holics.com today and start a free trial. It could change your career. And finally, if you do those things, if you don't do those things, if all you do is take a few minutes off today, then that's good, because what matters most is that you take care of yourself, because you deserve it.